Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the greatest, but let me play devil's advocate here. Let's see. So, no, that's a good thing. That's definitely not a problem. Reese's, you did it. You stumped this charming devil.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The Purple Mafia, with your host, Paladino Joey.
Well, we'll see. The doctors would disagree, but what do they know?
So let's just say that you'll pay me because it's in your interest to pay me.
Is it worth it? I mean, you've won. Do you want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemies. That's all. My father taught me many things. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
These are wonderful things that we've achieved, and there's no limit to where we can go from here.
Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey at Wygen. Purple Mafia is available on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. And I'm sure all of you enjoyed watching the game today. The Minnesota Vikings opened the season with a 34-6 trouncing of the St. Louis Rams, the team that looked pretty tough last year about midway before Sam Bradford's injury, and then things kind of derailed from there. And the derailing has continued pretty much ever since, unfortunately for the St. Louis Rams and their fan base. Gotta like this start for Mike Zimmer. What did I say? What did I say the whole show? Well, Mike Zimmer's defense will... they're going to be talking about how Mike Zimmer's defense is going to really shine strong in this game. It's going to be a factor. And they said it, basically, that Mike Zimmer basically has put his stamp on this game. Mike Zimmer's defense, his defensive schemes, there it is. I mean, it's just all over the whole, all over this whole game. The Minnesota Vikings off to a very, very strong start to the season, but let's hold back on that Super Bowl parade just yet. The St. Louis Rams pretty undermanned out there. The first half was pretty sloppy for both teams, and then all of a sudden, an interception by Josh Robinson kind of gets things going in the right direction. We're about to jump into that. It will be, it's going to be a lot of fun talking about this game for the most part. The first half really wasn't a lot of fun, though. It was one penalty after another. It got kind of ridiculous, actually. I mean, how many penalties do you need before it's just like, why don't you guys just get your ass in gear out here? But then the St. Louis Rams started committing penalties, and the Vikings started to kind of come together. They started to kind of remember, like, hey, you know, we should be able to play a little bit in this league. Maybe we're not the best team or anything, but maybe we could be a 9-7 team. Maybe we could sneak into the playoffs. Maybe, who knows? Some hosts locally not quite as optimistic. Others are too optimistic. A lot of the people, a lot of the fans out there may be a little bit too optimistic. And I'm certainly not negative on this team. I didn't expect the Vikings to go out there and annihilate the Rams. I picked 17-10. I thought it was going to stay boring, but the Vikings, maybe they'd get something like a Josh Robinson type of interception, something like that. Maybe not everything else that came with it. Maybe Adrian Peterson would run in a goal line smash or something to put the Vikings ahead, or to put the Rams on ice, whatever you want to call it. But the Vikings defense absolutely shut down the St. Louis Rams. And as I said on the show that last week, that the Rams would only score 10 points. They didn't even do that. So I'm feeling good about that prediction. Didn't think things would go quite as well as they did. But the Rams, boy, very, very undermanned. Not the best test in the world for the Minnesota Vikings to see just how good this team is. And we're not going to really, truly know how good this team is until the next 2-3 weeks here. Yeah, you have the Patriots and the Saints coming up. Anything can happen there. If the Vikings start the season 3-0, well, yeah, then we can start talking postseason, possibly. 3 wins is only 3 wins, though. You do have to remember that, because how many teams out there have been really good and still miss the playoffs? I mean, we've seen 8-2 teams finish 8-8, so you just never know. Yet at the same time, the positivity, the momentum, the reason for optimism and excitement will be there. Even though the Patriots didn't play particularly well today. No, they didn't, but then again, that could actually hurt the Vikings' chances next week. And we'll get to that in segment number 2, won't we? Yes, the New England Patriots. Oh, goody. That's going to be a very interesting situation going into that one. Adrian Peterson. Oh, boy. You're going to score in the first. This guy will say anything he does. He went from a guy who used to hardly say anything at all to a guy that will say anything. You know what I'm saying? First carry of the season, I'm going to score a touchdown. Wow. I don't know. I mean, it's not like it bugs me, but at the same time, it's just like, why would you say that? What's the point? I mean, I don't know. He's just kind of goofy. He's kind of reminded me of Torrey Hunter a little bit with the Minnesota Twins years ago. Like, no matter what it was, he'd be like, yeah. Like, say if the show host Dan Barrero or whoever would say, so are you going to guarantee a division championship this year? Even though you're down by like 7 games to the Cleveland Indians way back in the day. He's like, I'm guaranteeing it. Yeah, we're going to come back and win the division. So, Adrian Peterson, you're going to score a touchdown on your first carry of the season? He's like, yeah. All right, Adrian, all right. But he got 6 yards. Yeah, 6 yards. Okay, it's not that bad. 6 yards is still better than 4 yards or even 5, but 6 yards. Not quite touchdown unless he got a goal line smash on his first play of the season. That would have been cool. Then he could have lived up to his expectations, his own personal expectations on the first carry. But whatever. What's wrong with being confident or just having a little fun? Cordarrelle Patterson, gosh, his third run of the year ended up being a what was it, a 67-yarder? I mean, my goodness, how many tackles could he break? That's what was so impressive about it. Cordarrelle Patterson can do just about anything. He can return kicks. He can be an explosive receiver. And he can run on those reverses. I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy's a son of a gun, man. Cordarrelle Patterson led the Vikings in rushing. Cordarrelle Patterson led the Vikings in rushing. Awesome. It went from a really boring, crappy game to like, well, if you're a St. Louis Rams fan, yeah, it was the kind of game you would turn off. You'd turn it off. It was kind of like the Minnesota Vikings last year against, dare I say, a Seattle Seahawks. That game was so bad. The Vikings had a lot of crappy games last year. A lot. And this was a lot like those for the St. Louis Rams this time around. This could be a nice season for the Minnesota Vikings. It could go on to that. Because like you always say, the early season indicator, or the season opener, it is an indicator, in a way, to what type of season it could be. It could be. When you step out of the gate and you get your ass kicked, or you blow a big lead, you're probably not going to have a very good season. You play a team that's undermanned and you stomp them to kingdom come, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go on a Super Bowl run, or even make the postseason. But it does. But you know what? When you have a, what's the old saying what's the old saying in the sports world? You kill a mosquito with an axe. You just smash them. You crush them. This team's inferior, so crush them. You don't play you don't play at a nail biter with one of the worst teams in the league, like the Jacksonville Jaguars, at home in the Metrodome in 2012. But the Vikings opened that season with a victory, and guess what? Despite the fact we had a horrendous quarterback as a starter who played that was his best season, when you put everything together, when he started to play better at the end of the year, and he was okay the first couple games that year, the Vikings made the playoffs. The Vikings' record, after winning a season opener, is actually not too bad, is it? a lot better than the Vikings' record after losing the season opener. It's just on memory in the top of my head. Well, the Vikings creamed the Cleveland Browns in 19, my you-know-what, 2009. They crushed the Cleveland Browns on the road and went on to have a 12-4 season. The Browns were not a good team either. Not really comparing the teams here. I know, I understand, but just saying. 2010, the Vikings lost to the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. Crappy, it wasn't a very fun game either, and that was a crappy season. 2011, the Vikings blew a lead against the San Diego Chargers. Guess what? Yeah, that's right, they lost. They had a lousy season. And I mean beyond lousy that year. 2012, the Vikings beat the Jaguars. Yeah, it was close, and what was his name? Blaine Gabbert, it just was terrible and kind of threw that game away at the end. Just horrible passes. Terrible player. But at the end of the day, yeah, the Vikings won that game and had a solid season. Didn't have a great season, but a solid one. We had no idea Adrian Peterson was going to have a great win, but the opening game of the season is a momentum setter. And yes, some teams have started really bad and then got much better later in the year, and it does happen. Things can change, but it's a nice momentum setter at very least for the remainder of the year. Now, I picked the Vikings to win this game anyway, and so did a lot of other people, but you come out of the gate and lose to this St. Louis Rams team, do you really think the Vikings are going to have any type of season at all? I mean, we're talking 3-13 again. We're talking number one pick. But you go out and beat the Rams. So, rock and roll there. St. Louis Rams, nothing really on offense that would tell you that they should have scored double-digit points in this game. I was being generous giving them 10 points. Sean Hill was injured, mildly injured, just hurt enough that might as well just not put him back in. He wasn't that bad, but he wasn't knocking anyone's socks off, and neither was Davis, the backup/third-string quarterback of the St. Louis Rams. Nobody on offense really was that special. Quick led the team in receptions, 99 yards, 7 catches, but overall, nothing from the Rams today that would tell you they were any type of threat. No, they just as easily could have had 9 points, but if they had a missed field goal along the way. Blair Walsh made all of his field goals, including a 52-yarder and a 46-yarder. And then Zierlein, if I'm saying his name correctly, if I remember correctly, makes a 56-yarder after missing one much earlier in the game, which would have given the Rams a tie, I believe. But go figure, he makes a 56-yarder. Well, all right then. At that point, it was 13-3, and that was when the Rams' first score in the entire game. Zierlein gets a 46-yarder away at the end of the game, just to semi-save face. Not really much resistance from this Rams offense, and their defense wasn't so hot either later on, with penalty after penalty after penalty, and the Rams offense was horrible. I mean, we're talking multiple pass interference penalties on their offense. Just a complete lack of discipline, sloppy, dumb, and young, to be fair. It does help, though, when you have a pass rush. When you have guys all over the field for the Minnesota Vikings. That defensive line, oh my. Whew. Linval Joseph, man. This guy is something, man. Wow. There are a lot of players that could win the Fran Tarkenton Award this week, which is a hint to where I'm headed. Yes, it's a hint. There's definitely only one guy that will win the Tavares Jackson, which will be called the Christian Ponder Award, because as bad as Tavares Jackson was, for where he was selected and all that good stuff and how frustrating it was to watch, I think Ponder's worse. I think Ponder's worse, so I think we're gonna change that award to the Christian Ponder Award, the Christian Ponder Memorial, whatever you want to call it, when you have your worst or most disappointing player of the week. And I know who that's going to be. Only one guy really stood out today that was annoying, frustrating. We'll get to that in a second. Wink, wink. Greg Jennings, very solid. Scoring a touchdown after Josh Robinson, of all people, in the right position. Because now I'm kind of switching things over to that now. So I was ranting on and on about the Rams there. Not ranting, but whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about the Vikings. We're going to talk about the Vikings defense for the time being here. Like I was trying to hint towards for the longest time. Yeah, Linval Joseph, wow. Wow, I mean, getting in the backfield, tackles for loss, stopping the run. Oh, and by the way, gets a sack and just blows right through that Rams offensive line. Sharif Floyd all day was rushing the quarterback and was making tackles for loss in the backfield on Zach Stacy and such. Wow. Wow, Sharif Floyd last year, you barely knew he existed. But he was everywhere tonight. Today, almost said tonight, everywhere. Sharif Floyd and Linval Joseph, man, oh man, oh man. It's like the Williams wall is back. You got Kevin Williams and Sharif Floyd and Pat Williams and Linval Joseph. My goodness. Very, very cool. Very exciting. Nice future the Vikings have with this defensive line. Even Everson Griffin getting a couple sacks much later in the game. A couple sacks later in the game. Anthony Barr, wow. Wow. I mean, you think I'm this homer coming in here getting all excited. Telling you, just like, oh yeah, Vikings this, Vikings that. Positivity, duckies and bunnies. But a game like this, there really isn't all that much negativity to talk about other than the first half was boring as hell. And the Vikings were kind of a mess too. The Vikings and the Rams looked like crap early in the game until things started to change for that touchdown. After Blair Walsh made a couple of field goals, yeah, I mean, Josh Robinson was just in the right position. I mean, Mike Zimmer has these Mike Zimmer and of course George Edwards, the defensive coordinator, working together from their days in Cincinnati. Now, obviously, running the Vikings defense big time. They have these players in the right position, and they have these players playing up to their potential, maybe even beyond it in some cases. I mean, Josh Robinson, absolutely the right place at the right time, able to take the ball away from Sean Hill, which would be about the end of his. In fact, yeah, that would be the last pass he would make in this game. But not only was it, I mean, he kept his feet in bounds the way he did too. I mean, very beautiful. I mean, you don't expect that out of Josh Robinson. Being in the right position and making a great catch and staying in bounds. And it was in a great spot too because there was only 35 yards to go, which ultimately ended in a beautiful pass from Matt Castle to Greg Jennings in the end zone. And you know Castle and Jennings have good chemistry. They had it all year last year when they actually got to play together. Very cool. Two veterans working together. Two guys in their 30s working together. It's a nice combination. I do think Greg Jennings leads the Vikings in receptions this year, but probably not yards and touchdowns. But receptions, yes. He's the Chris Carter. Patterson's the Moss. Oh, yeah. Patterson's the Moss. But this Vikings defense just dominant. All over the place. All over this game. Anthony Barr, several tackles along the way. Linval Joseph had 5 tackles. Gerald Hodges getting extensive time in this game, and he was a factor. A couple tackles for loss as well. Jasper Brinkley even looked good. Captain Munnerlyn early had a penalty, but later, hell yeah, making one nice stop after another. There was a play pretty early on where Bates of the Rams pretty much runs over Marcus Sherrills, and they say that the Viking player knocked Bates into Marcus Sherrills on a punt return, and then he's all jumping up and down, all excited, but gosh, Sherrills was like got his head on the ground like he'd had a concussion possibly, and the guy's jumping up and down, all excited that the penalty's against us. Gee, thanks. Gee, thanks, Bates. Good one. So that was kind of a pain in the butt play along the way. Just all kinds of things you can remember in this game that were good overall. But also show how the Rams are kind of a mess too. The defense, all over this game. What more can you say? Players in the right position, guys getting the job done along the way, and of course the Rams' offense being what it is. Take advantage of it. Yeah, if they suck, then take advantage of it. That doesn't mean the Vikings did anything wrong. That's good. Good job. Way to take advantage of a sucky situation on the other sideline. Take advantage of it, and the Vikings did just that. Good for them. Matt Castle, very solid. You never really got any type of vibe like he was going to throw this game away in any way, shape, or form. Didn't blow anyone's socks off, but sure the heck didn't scare anybody either. Nice to see Jarius Wright get a nice catch along the way as well. Only a couple, but but they were both nice. I mean, I appreciated it. Ellison had a really nice 22-yarder along the way, which kind of helped set up a dagger later on. This was just, this game, I mean, I almost kind of got bored along the way, because it's like, I mean, it was plain as day the Vikings were going to win this one. Once Cordarrelle Patterson ran for that 67-yarder, it was kind of like, yeah, I think we're probably going to win this. And then ultimately, Matt Castle's pass to Kyle Rudolph, that was the dagger along the way, and making it 27-3. The Rams couldn't really do anything there. That was late in the fourth quarter already, halfway through. And then Austin Davis had a pass intercepted by Harrison Smith, who went to pay dirt 81 yards. Unbelievable. Right when the Rams thought they were going to get something going. They were finally moving the ball down the field a little bit, because the Vikings were kind of probably chilling out a tiny, tiny bit, knowing they probably have this game won for the most part. And Harrison Smith takes it to the house, 81 yards. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely awesome. Harrison Smith had a sack in this game, all over the place, knocking passes down. Pretty much a leading candidate for the Fran Tarkenton Award. But you notice this isn't necessarily going to be a detailed game review. This really isn't going to be, because it was such a lopsided game. There isn't as much drama in this one to really talk about that's needed for a overly detailed game review. Overall, just the Vikings defense players were in position where they needed to be, and the offense did what they needed to do. And it was creative as well. There was play action. There were slants. I mean, it was nice. So I like what I saw out there. All kinds of... I mean, they were very creative, having Cordarrelle Patterson run the ball as well in reverses. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Hitting players out in the flat. Obviously, Kyle Rudolph for that touchdown. Overall, I mean, you come out of this game feeling good, but at the same time, my confidence is guarded a little bit. You got a lot tougher schedule coming up, so we're going to get to that very shortly. Let's pass out the awards before I get a little bit too long-winded on this one. Not really necessary to have a super long game review on this one, really. I mean, I need to get on with this. So, Fran Tarkenton Award is going to go to the defense in general. I mean, I almost might as well give it to Mike Zimmer, but then again, the players deserve some credit. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Barr, all over the place. Linval Joseph, all over the place. Harrison Smith, all over the place. Captain Munnerlyn, very solid. Even Chad Greenway with a sack. I mean, it's just, sheesh. Cedric Everson Griffin with 2 sacks later in the game to kind of run things down along the way. I mean, yeah, this defense looks good. Hopefully we can carry it into the next game against the New England Patriots. If you can get to Tom Brady, you can get to just about anybody. That would be pretty awesome, even though he's not. I mean, yeah, he's not fast, but I'm just saying, he's got a quick release. He gets rid of the ball pretty quickly. The guy knows what he's doing, just a little bit. So if you can attack that team, my goodness. I mean, you got to think. I mean, the New England Patriots. When have they not had an at least decent offensive line as well? So that will be a nice test. Fran Tarkenton Award there, and we'll call it the Christian Ponder. I'm going to kind of wait, though, until he's off the team, just to be fair. Tavares Jackson Memorial goes to Matt Khalil. multiple false starts. Looked a little bit like a mess out there. Early on when the Vikings were struggling, Matt Khalil was all over it. Matt Castle was getting pressured a bit there, and Matt Khalil was getting beat, and of course he was getting the false starts. Kind of like another Todd Stussy, like people were saying. The other number 73 back in the day who constantly would get false starts. Yet he still had a pretty good career, getting to multiple Pro Bowls for the Vikings and the Carolina Panthers years later. But, man, I'm not sure what's going on with Matt Khalil. I'm quite concerned. Definite confidence issues with him. It's weird. People are wondering what is going on with this guy, and he needs to basically get his ass in gear sooner rather than later, because he was a Pro Bowler as a rookie and struggled as a sophomore, and as a junior, my goodness, off to a really bad start. But hey, we've seen it before where a guy starts really, really bad, like the first game or two, and then boom, next thing you know, he's one of the best at his position in the league. So we'll see. Got to hope for the best here with Matt Khalil, but Tavares Jackson for week number 1 goes to him. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. But first, I'm going to apologize if it seemed like the game review was kind of more bouncing around rather than like in chronological order. But that's just how a game like this, it's not going to be the prettiest game review, because it was kind of a messy game. If you hadn't noticed, it was a very messy game. So just letting you know why things went as they did there. So now we're going to get to a pretty well organized preview of the New England Patriots right after this. Hey, it's hot, it's humid, it's summertime. Nothing is more refreshing this time of year than Halcyon Wheat Ale, brewed by Tallgrass from Manhattan, Kansas. Their 8-Bit Pale Ale is my personal favorite and the official beer of this podcast. There is nothing cooler than seeing Pac-Man licking his chops on this amazing can, and even better beer. Check out the many other wonderful beers Tallgrass offers on their website at www.tallgrassbeer.com. Check out their beer locator to see what's available in your area. You can follow Tallgrass on Twitter at TallgrassMN and find them on Facebook. Simply search Tallgrass, Minnesota. Bringing people together over a beer since 2007. Too busy to sit in front of a computer? Simply download Purple Mafia on iTunes for Apple devices. For Android, download the Double Twist app, and for Windows and BlackBerry phones, simply find us in the store. And now, back to Palladino Joey. And we are back here on Purple Mafia. It's the preview segment, as in previewing week 2 in this case. The New England Patriots come to TCF Bank Stadium. But before that, I want to mention, you heard the Tallgrass ad just now, about the Halcyon beer, and you noticed how it's summertime and all that good stuff in the ad. Yeah, you're going to be hearing a fall ad very soon, featuring the Zombie Monkey, the robust porter that has been released from Tallgrass. So do keep an eye out for that. You'll notice it on the website, tallgrassbeer.com, what it looks like, so you'll know what it is when you see it in liquor stores. But I figure keep the Halcyon one on one more week, obviously, and hey, they're still in the stores and they're still very fresh for the next few months here, so still a very, very worthwhile beer to get, the Halcyon, but of course, 8-Bit, yeah. 8-Bit's my overall favorite, as you know. All right, New England Patriots come to TCF Bank Stadium with an 0-1 record. An 0-1 record, and who did they lose to? The Miami Dolphins. Yeah.
Oh my God!
They lost to the Miami Dolphins. I know all of you were laughing when I said the Miami Dolphins were going to make the playoffs. I could hear you laughing, and I'm not happy about it. Okay, I'm just kidding. But I know you were laughing. The Miami Dolphins make the final seed in the AFC. That doesn't look so bad right now. At least after 1 week. The Miami Dolphins look awfully strong. A 33-20 victory over the New England Patriots. And by the way, don't think I forgot about the old NFC North roundup, which I'm going to do again. Yeah, I'm going to do it again, even though maybe some of you like it, some of you don't. But I think it's a worthwhile thing, especially if the Vikings are doing well. You want to know how everyone else in the division is doing, and it just adds more interest to the show and maybe builds rivalries and friendly rivalries with other listeners and such that may not be Viking fans, but still are willing to listen to this show, and I do appreciate you very much if that is the case. But yeah, the Patriots 33-20 in Miami. Like, what happened here? Jeez, they gave up 23 points in the second half. Patriots led 20-10 at the half. Like, figure, okay, cool. New England Patriots, you know, they're going to win the NFC. They're going to win the AFC this year. You know, they look strong and they're doing good on the road against a team that finished 8-8 last year. A team that I think could very easily be 9-7, 10-6, especially after this one. Who knows now? But what happened here? Jeez, man, that's a pretty bad loss for the New England Patriots. That's a pretty big turnaround. I mean, gosh, 23-0 in the second half. 23-0. Giving up multiple giving up 3 field goals and 2 touchdowns. Jeez, I mean that's a lot of offense to give up. Tom Brady didn't have an interception, but wasn't all too special either. Wasn't getting anywhere against the ever improving Miami defense. So I mean, what do you think's going to happen here? 56 attempts by Brady, obviously playing from behind later in the game there. No, not much of a running game, and but then again they were behind, like I already said. Boy, it's a New England team that they do have to overcome losses. They've lost a lot of players over the years. Could this be another victory for the Vikings next week? Boy, it's going to be very interesting when you think about it. Gronkowski, still there, obviously in New England. He got the only touchdown reception from Tom Brady in this game. Other than that, the Patriots, well, they ran the game. They ran the ball in. Vereen in the first half, of course. He only got 36 yards in the whole game and only 7 attempts, but did score a touchdown in the first half. But it's like, who are these guys? You know what I mean? Outside of Tom Brady and Gronkowski, it's kind of like, who are these guys? You're kind of left in that question. Like, who do they have? Well, the Miami Dolphins at least have Ryan Tannehill, Knowshon Moreno, Mike Wallace. That's a pretty good trio, and I do think they're going to make the playoffs. Like I said earlier, Knowshon Moreno running for 134 yards and a touchdown on the Patriots. Ryan Tannehill had an interception in the game, but still solid. Not the best game you'll ever see. Not the most accurate, 18 of 32, but still, hey, not bad. Mike Wallace, 81 yards in the game, receiving. The Dolphins got the job done against this New England team. So what are they going to do in TCF next week? I'm kind of at a loss. I don't know what to expect here. I know the Patriots are better than this, and I got to think that they are going to play better in TCF Bank Stadium. But, geez, I'm feeling good about the Vikings right now, and not impressed with the Patriots so far. A big key for the New England Patriots going into this game is their defense. They do have Darrelle Revis, who did play in this game, and their pass defense did make Ryan Tannehill struggle a little bit out there. His accuracy not so hot, and he did have an interception in the game. And yeah, I mean, Darrelle Revis only had 1 tackle in the game. He wasn't thrown to very much, so that's encouraging for the Patriots. On the offensive side, Tom Brady doesn't have a whole lot to throw the ball to. I mean, you look at guys like Slater, seven years in the league. He's been with the Patriots his whole career, has 1 catch. 1 catch in 7 years. Tompkins, LaFell was okay with Carolina. He was added to the Patriots this year. Tompkins hasn't really done all that much. It's really Edelman, who had over 1,000 yards last year with the Patriots, but only how many touchdowns? Only 6 last year. Barely over 1,000 yards, but had 105 receptions. So definitely a possession receiver. Led the Patriots with 95 yards, 6 catches in this particular game against Miami as well. So he's really the only, he's the number 1 receiving threat for the New England Patriots, and you don't really hear about Edelman all that much, do you? I mean, he was all right, Julian Edelman. And, of course, Gronkowski, who, well, when healthy, sure, a couple of years ago he was pretty damn good back in 2011, but year in, year out, he's had injury problems, and his production declines year after year. 2011, he had that huge year, 16 played all 16 games, started all 16 games, 17 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, and then every year is a bigger decline, more and more injured. 11 games in 2012, 6 games, 7 games in 2013. Last year, didn't even get 600 yards, but, well, at least he was healthy and got a touchdown in this one. So watch him probably score a touchdown against the Vikings next week if he doesn't get hurt somehow in practice sometime along the way. He's another one of those guys who parties more than he practices. So great. Good, one of those guys who could have been a superstar who just, I guess, isn't. Can't imagine Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are too happy about that, yet he's still on the team. And the other guy who was supposed to be a superstar tight end, well, yeah, he's not available right now because he's behind bars. So, with all that said, the New England Patriots, it's all about the coaching, obviously. It's all about the coaching, and they do make some wise moves along the way. Verdeen is the starting running back. I admittedly know hardly anything about the guy. Barely, he's been a reserve his whole career. This was his... He didn't even start in the game, actually. He's not really a starter. He just was the leading rusher in this game. He's never broken 200. He broke 251 yards in his first season along the way. Outside of that, there really isn't much of a running game. It's kind of like a running back by committee right now in New England. Bolden, he's not done anything. So it's kind of similar in terms of not much of an offensive threat from the Patriots. It is more of a defensive thing again. And Bill Belichick, in all honesty, has always been a defensive coach anyway. It's just that Tom Brady happens to be the quarterback, not Sean Hill, not Davis, who nobody's heard of, the third string, quarterback in St. Louis, who's now the second stringer. Man, you look at this running game, it's kind of scary. Ridley has been good in the past, but unfortunately he missed a lot of time last year and lost his starting job as well. Yeah, he had a great season in 2012, but Stephen Ridley. But outside of that, it's just you don't really think much about the New England running game, and they really haven't really had much of a running game anyway, outside of Lawrence Maroney, the former Gopher, for a while there. Before he was injured like every doggone year. That was a lot of fun. And the rookie, James White, hasn't seen any action yet in regular football on Sundays. So that's all a wait and see. That's kind of typical New England when you think about it. Not much of a running game, though, of course. When the Vikings play them, they tend to run all over us like Woodhead years ago, and all of a sudden he ended up being a pretty good player years later on future rosters. So go figure. It's going to be one of those games where if the Patriots win, it'll be just because they're just so doggone smart. They're so doggone smart, like a Tom Brady, and the Vikings will just get outcoached if they lose this game in TCF. But right now, it's almost like, geez. The Patriots are so undermanned, it's almost like you wonder, is their defense going to be good enough to fluster Matt Castle like it did Tannehill a little bit? Or are the Vikings going to score on the New England Patriots like the Miami Dolphins did? And if they do, well, the Minnesota Vikings are going to be 2-0. Am I ready to do that? Pick the Vikings to be 2-0? Against a New England Patriots team that I got to think is going to be really ready to even up their record in a quick hurry here because they weren't expecting to lose in Miami. Starting out your season in Miami and Minnesota can't be the easiest start to the year, but they're the Patriots. They're not going to get an easy schedule. Nobody's going to reward them for anything because they've won they've been to the NFC title or AFC title game 3 years in a row, and the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. This game's going to be kind of tough to predict. But it's like I got to do it, don't I? Do I come on a limb and predict a victory for the Minnesota Vikings over the New England Patriots? Right now, as good as Mike Zimmer looks, as good as Matt Castle, Cordarrelle Patterson, and the defense in general, just one player after another looked, I can't. I can't pick the Vikings to win because they've never beaten Tom Brady. The Vikings have never beaten Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Ever. So I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it. And I think the Patriots come back with a vengeance. I think it's just the kind of game where the Patriots are going to come up with this and that. You know what I mean? They're going to come up with something. A certain player that we're all going to be like, who the hell is that, is going to emerge. And that's the typical Patriots, especially against the Vikings, but against just about anybody else too. Who the hell is this guy who has 150 yards in his career, has 150 yards in this game? Like a Slater. Just watch Slater or watch Edelman be that guy out of Kent State, of course. Oh, Kent State, whatever. Maybe LaFell has a big game. The former Carolina Panther. Maybe one of these running backs runs all over Minnesota. No, I think the Vikings are more likely to be beat by the pass, even though Harrison Smith has been good. I think the Vikings cornerbacks are still the weakness. And I think the Patriots figure that out. I think they target Josh Robinson in this game. In the slot, or not the slot receiver. No, he's not going to be a slot corner. No, that'd be Munnerlyn. But I think they target Josh Robinson in this game. I think Brady smells blood and is going to go after Josh Robinson. And I don't think he's going to have the luck and the fortunes and the good positioning that he did against the St. Louis Rams. Yes, Mike Zimmer is a great coach, has the potential to be a great coach. He's a great defensive mind. Yes, I shouldn't say great coach. It's one freaking game, but forgive me for that a little bit there. But and Gronkowski, of course, I can see Gronkowski beating Chad Greenway and the like as well, especially Greenway. And I think they're going to throw Gronkowski at him. But I also think Tom Brady in general is going to target a Josh Robinson in this game and is going to... I think the Patriots are going to pull off a fairly close game. I don't want the Vikings to lose this game, but, get back to me when the Vikings beat the Patriots. And if they do, great. This is one of those games, I hope I'm wrong, but the Vikings never beat the Patriots. Like I said, they're going to come up with somebody that we've probably never heard of, or some of you out there have heard of them that follow the Patriots really closely, or that are just like a football freak. They know every single player and every single team super duper well. I'm here to talk about the Vikings. I follow the league pretty closely, and I like the Patriots, but there's a lot of guys on this particular team that no one's really heard of. And it's okay to say that. It doesn't make you a bad football fan, an ignorant football fan, or a stupid or whatever the heck you are, a unprepared football fan. Most of these guys no one's heard of, man. Just like they're like the San Antonio Spurs of football. Like George Hill, who the hell was that? Remember that? And then he ended up being a solid, okay player, went on to play for the Indiana Pacers years later. It's like that. I was like, who the hell is George Hill? He ended up being all right. Steven Jackson, who the hell is that? He ended up having a nice career on other teams and then coming back to the Spurs and all that good stuff. Guys like that. They emerge. And that's what the Patriots do as well. Like, who the hell's Randy Moss? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's like sometimes they'd make a splash with a big name, and then they'd really blow up. Even Corey Dillon helped the Patriots win a Super Bowl, their third Super Bowl championship. Corey Dillon helped them win that one. So, yeah, they make a move like that. But this team, there's a lot of Frankenstein-type projects, and I think they're going to come up with something in this one. The Patriots are going to start the season 0-2, are they? Do you really think they are? I don't think so. I think the Patriots take I think their defense is gonna stifle us a little bit in this one. I think they're a lot smarter than the St. Louis Rams. They're a lot more experienced than as good a coach as Jeff Fisher is. I think Bill Belichick has a better handle on the New England Patriots than Fisher currently has on the St. Louis Rams. So I think the Patriots score 24 and the Vikings 17. It's going to be one of those. We're going to see some scoring. We're going to see some good plays. We're going to see some bad plays. We're going to see turnovers, I think, in this game on both sides of the ball. I think Brady might even get an interception in this one. Meaning when I say that, but I do think you're going to see. The Vikings turn the ball over in this game. Unfortunately, I mean the Patriots are really good at that. There's going to be multiple turnovers in this game. One of these teams is going to get multiple turnovers, and whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this football game, in my opinion. It's going to come down to a lot of that, and of course, just making the big play at the right time. That's kind of football 101 right there. And the Patriots are better at that right now than this Minnesota Viking team at this very time. So 24-17, Patriots out-clutch the Vikings. And, of course, get some turnovers along the way, in my humble opinion. So that's where I'm headed right now. Patriots defense, I think, is the difference in this game, along with the clutch ability of Tom Brady. So that's ultimately why I see the Patriots winning. And, of course, the fact that the Vikings have never, ever defeated Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, together. It's never happened. So, going to leave that as is. I'm sorry to say that. I don't like it either. Even though I like the Patriots, I want the Vikings to win this game. But they won't, in my opinion. So, with that, we're going to take a break, and you're going to hear two calls. First from Brent Jacobson, and second from Sebastian Balls. So, here we go. The phone call Hall of Fame, and then on to the Facebook and Twitter accounts, where we will have some real cool comments from those of you out there right after this.
Do you shop on Amazon? Did you know that you could support this podcast just by doing your normal shopping on Amazon? It's really easy to do. Just go to thesportstuff.com and click on one of the many Amazon pictures. Do your normal shopping, and Amazon sees that we referred you, and they give us a percentage. We'd like to thank you in advance for supporting thesportstuff.com, and please use our Amazon link. Now enjoy the rest of the show.
We are going round.
Contact us and support Purple Mafia by liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter. Don't forget to call into our phone lines at 209-736-7877. That's 209-736-7877.
Yeah, this message is for Joey. Wow. Boy, did we ever have a defense. Dang, man. And this is going to be a fun season. If we can, maybe I'm being a bit cautious here, but man, if we can knock Tom Brady and the Patriots out like we did the Rams, dang. Super Bowl homeboy? Okay, maybe I'm getting that cart way ahead of the horse here, but anyways, dang, this team looked great today. I know it was Sean Hill and Austin Davis. Who? Anyways, let's go Vikings. What a fun game today was. Let's go Vikings. Keep up the good work, Joey, and get you later. Bye.
And I thank you for that call, Brent. Let me jump in here between the two calls. I think it's better if I split them up, so let's do Brent first and then Sebastian second. Yeah, very, very excited, aren't you, Brent? And I am too, to a point. I'm encouraged by this game in a big way. And yeah, it's pretty exciting to see the Vikings defense actually look good after the garbage we've put up with the past few years. Sure, in 2012, the Vikings defense was all right. It was kind of a stay-at-home defense that knocked people around a little bit, but still was capable of being beat and certainly didn't look nearly as good as this particular defense, didn't look as well coached as this particular defense. So I don't blame you for the optimism, but as you said later in the call, that it was Tavon Austin, who we're going to hear some conversation about him a bit here in the Facebook page, but who really isn't all that much to brag about, is he? I mean, the Rams blew it by not taking Cordarrelle Patterson, and I kind of sort of knew it at the time. I kind of did, man. I was Cordarrelle Patterson was the number one receiver in that draft, and in my opinion, and that's why I wanted him on the Vikings so bad, and we ended up getting him. Crazy how he did, and wonderful how things can actually go your way sometimes. Knocking around Tom Brady, you say? Well, if the Vikings do knock around Tom Brady and they get to him a decent amount in TCF Bank Stadium, sure they have a chance to win. But the Vikings never knock around Tom Brady. He knocks us around, if you know what I mean. He carves us up every single time he plays the Minnesota Vikings. And until that changes, I can't pick the Vikings to win. Oh, God, I'd love that. And if the Vikings do beat the New England Patriots, well, we're one step closer to having a successful season. A great season. Not ready for that just yet, but a better than expected season. Yes. The Vikings beat the Patriots. Officially, the 8-8 record that I predicted becomes 9-7 and beyond and beyond. If the Vikings continue to win games we didn't expect, like the New Orleans Saints. So there you go. There you go. Great, 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 great call, Brent. Sebastian, Mr. Sebastian Balls, the floor is yours.
And here we go. The Minnesota Vikings have their first road win in a couple of years. It's under the new head coach, Mike Zimmer, with the offensive coordinator, Norv Turner. I was pissed in the beginning of the game about what they were doing offensively. 3rd and 15 runs. Could not stand it. Finally got some things tweaked around. I love the Cordarrelle Patterson end rounds. Absolutely brilliant. Amazing defense. Exactly what we want to see from Zimmer. Overall, a fantastic game, an ass-kicking, one that, I didn't think we were going to score that many points, but we did. It went pretty well. Now it's on to New England, back at home at the bank, or as I think the common man likes to call it, the vault. So, either way, we will be going home, and that will pretty much be that. All right, I will hopefully be on the show here within a week or two, and can't wait to be co-hosting again. All right, have a good one. Bye.
And I thank you for that call, Sebastian. And, welcome back to the show. And, yeah, Sebastian will be on the next show. He will be actually at the New England Patriots game, Minnesota Vikings and New England Patriots game, at the Vault, as the common man likes to call it, TCF Bank Stadium to be exact. Yeah, 3rd and 5 runs, and the best part was it was with Matt Asiata, not Adrian Peterson. It's like, Matt Asiata on 3rd and 15, that's basically like, we're punting. We're punting, we're just going to give you an extra couple yards. That's basically what that was. So that kind of reeked of Brad Childress type offense right there, the kick-ass offense. But things did definitely turn for the better, and the creativity started to come out. And, yes, the Cordarrelle Patterson, those end runs, oh, my. Oh, beautiful. And, of course, one of them went 67 yards with a bajillion missed tackles along the way. Cordarrelle Patterson, a multi-threat of multi-threats. Percy Harvin who. Yeah, and that's not trying to be cocky. That's not trying to be homerish. Guys, seriously. Percy Harvin who? The guy never could stay healthy. The guy never broke 1,000 yards of any kind, except maybe kick returns here and there. Cordarrelle Patterson is going to have a better career than Percy Harvin. I'm very confident in saying that. Very. If he stays healthy. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah, this is wood, so, yeah. Fun game indeed. Really hope the Vikings can pull that out, and great call. Lots of energy out of Sebastian. I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to make you rush and cram your calls in a minute. I'm just saying, though, yeah, do keep it to a minute, though. Yeah, keep that going. I do appreciate that, but I'm not trying to make you guys rush or anything. So just letting you know out there that if you might be wondering or thinking that, oh my God, it's only a minute, I gotta hurry, just letting you guys know out there that maybe thinking that. Yeah, do keep it as a minute and everything, but don't feel pressure out there. Sebastian going to be an awesome co-host in the next show. Yeah, and it's going to be a fluent situation. Sometimes I want to be solo, partially because of the scheduling and all that. It's tough. The scheduling is tough. Sebastian's schedule is tough, too. Don't think I'm the only one with a tough schedule. He works long third shifts, so very long shifts, by the way, and I have 2 jobs and all that good stuff. Yet I'm still very much able to watch the games and get all the information I need and hopefully give you a high-quality show that's ever improving. 6 years, 7 years. This is the 7th season already in. My God. But ever improving, and that's what I'm all about. Improving, tying up loose ends, getting better. Just like the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, just like the Minnesota Vikings. Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. Well, let's get into the post-game thread right away. Oh, yeah, let's do that right away. I had it, and I lost it. Isn't that just great? I just love when I do that. Yeah, it's wonderful. Actually, let's start where I said the football. Well, this was the in-game thread, and I had it, and I lost the actual post-game one. I kind of wanted to go in another direction anyway, so we'll do what we're going to do here. I usually like to start out actually talking about seeing your guys' responses on the previous show. Only 2 comments, so that'll be quick and easy, which is nice. Actually, 1 comment, because, tickets American football. Mark Carlson, out of Iowa, says, so much to talk about. Great show, Palladino Joey. The much-anticipated season preview was very welcome. Too bad Dylan Richardson was not able to join you, or Sebastian Balls either. Still, the show was great as always. I like to hear your opinions on players and the team, and really enjoy hearing other fan observations. Guess that's why I listen. I need to get a shout-out to a friend and fellow Viking. Carly Eliza Kunje is just getting started. Or, excuse me, oh no, she's from Iowa. We talk Vikings every time we see each other, and the season is just getting started. I apologize for that. I want to encourage her to download, listen, and post her thoughts here. Skull, Carly, and thank you, Joey. The Rams are going down. Mark from Iowa, and boy, did they go down. And shout out back to you, Carly. Yes, hopefully you are listening and have joined the page. Not sure if she has or has not yet, but nice to meet you. Hope to hear from you in the future. That would be terrific. Usually, see the in-game post, and that's on there to have conversations with you guys on there, and I'm going to try my best to do that. It seems like with this iPad that I was lucky enough to win at work, which I keep talking about, but no, it seems like I'm having an easier time with this now versus some of the laptops and stuff that I haven't been that are, they're kind of old or the software's messed up, stuff like that. I seem to have an easier time on this to keep up during the game, kind of talk with you guys, but it's going to be sporadic, like I told Sebastian. Generally, I don't read the in-game conversation on air. I prefer post-game or pre-game, stuff like that, to be read on the show, because if I just read everything, people are going to get bored and quit listening to the show, and that's not trying to be disrespectful to anybody that is posting on here. This mostly is for me to interact live during the game on there. It makes it interesting, it makes it more fun. So I'm going to try to do that and more on the Facebook page, but I will tend to come and go at times just because, trying to keep up with the game as best I can rather than only just staring at the iPad the whole time, because I'm going to miss stuff that way. And when I miss stuff, I get people telling me, saying, hey, moron, or get your facts straight, or this or that. That's not fun. When you host a show, you don't want to hear stuff like that. and you know what? People have every right to tell you that, though, if you do screw up. So, unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes. So, the post-game thread, only 6 comments, because I should have probably opened this up a little bit sooner than I did. So, I do apologize, but still, lots of nice comments in here, and I will be getting to Twitter as well. Told you how to get there at Purple Mafia Show in the jingle earlier. Matthew Kyle out of Maine saying, although depleted Rams offense isn't much of a conquest, and the defense looked incredible. We hit hard, got to the QB, forced turnovers, and allowed minimal high yardage plays. Yeah, I mean, the Rams couldn't do jack you-know-what against the Vikings. And that's good. And we attacked the quarterback, made him frustrated, made him feel helpless. That's good. Very good. That's very encouraging. So, yeah, it's not even about the purple people eaters are back. It's that they got the job done. Plain and simple. They got the job done. Carl O'Neill later. We're going to hear about that. How to wrap up this thing here at the bottom. Brent Jacobson, though, saying, so that's what a defense looks like. I hadn't seen a purple defense look that good since the days of Chris Dolman, Keith Millar, John Randall, and Al Noga. Man, Al Noga, that brings back some good old memories, man, back in the good old 92. That was a good defense, wasn't it? Good old 92. I liked Al Noga, man. He was good. Very good. Very underrated. Keith Millard was really good, too. And Chris Dolman, man. I don't think we're there yet, but maybe. I mean, maybe. We're just not there yet. Let's sustain it a little longer. And if they do, if they play well against the Patriots, if they kick the Saints' butt, oh my God, wouldn't that be cool? Let's beat up those Saints without cheating, without being bounty hunters. Wouldn't that be nice? So, yeah, if the Vikings can keep this going, sure, okay, but not yet. Not yet. Dave Hickey saying, also out of Iowa, of course, Brent from Lakeville, Minnesota, but Dave Hickey out of Iowa saying, awesome. You can't ask for much more than that. Loving that Vikings defense. Thanks to Coach Zimmer, and Patterson is a straight-up stud. Skol Vikings. Brett McCarthy, sorry about that. Brett McCarthy saying all around both sides of the ball. I liked what I saw. Hats off to the coaching staff. Malcolm out of California saying, when's the last time you could relax in the fourth quarter of a Viking game? That was nice. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, a long while. I mean, at least 2012, if not 2009. It's been a while. 2009, there was a Rams game where it was it 41-7. I pretty much fell asleep watching that game. It was like that. Yeah, I kind of did actually in the fourth quarter. I actually fell asleep and I had to kind of rewatch it. So, yeah, 41-7 when there really wasn't anything going on. I fell asleep. I didn't try to, but that was 2009. So, yeah, I still put together a pretty good show because I rewatched what I needed to, and there wasn't all that much to see. So, oh well. Carl O'Neill, always stirring the pot, aren't you? No, I mean, I like that he posts on here. This is great. You know, this is a good point. Yeah. He says, please temper your enthusiasm on the D. Yes, they look good, but who are they facing? A terrible O-line, a mediocre backup quarterback, and 0 wide receivers. Devon is overrated. The next 5 weeks will tell the story of how good this defense will be. Absolutely, Carl. Absolutely. That's definitely a star-worthy comment right there. Mm-hmm. He's going to get one of the stars. Yeah, he's not trying to tell everybody, oh yeah, you guys are stupid, your defense. No, it's because this Rams team was this was a whole lot of nothing. But like to the point though, I was saying earlier, it's not even like the defense was spectacular because they shut down the Rams. It's the fact that they did get the job done, though, and they didn't get beat by the Rams. That's a good sign, and it's encouraging. So that's a way to look at it in a sense. Like I was talking about on the last show, that I was saying the Vikings defense was going to look probably better than it maybe it is. It's going to make Mike Zimmer look really good because they're really bad. And so far, Mike Zimmer's defense has looked really good. So there are encouraging signs along the way. It's encouraging, and it could build to something. And as Carl says very well here, the next 5 weeks will tell the story of how good the defense will be. This defense will be. If they kick the Patriots' butts and fluster the Saints, okay, wow. Wow. Let's get there when we do, because this schedule is going to suck. But, hey, the fortunate part is we did get to start the schedule against it's kind of like going to AAA, maybe, or even AA if you're a baseball player. So maybe get that batting average going again and come back and play good against the big leaguers. So we'll see where things go there. There are other posts, and I do want to make sure I grab them here quick. Let's see if they're in here, because I know, wow, there's always a lot of stuff. I know Dave. Yep, there's Dave Hickey. Brent Jacobson. Lots of stuff all over the place. Sebastian, man, you guys post a lot of stuff on here, don't you? This one was kind of funny. Sebastian posting a picture saying the moment you realize Matt Schaub took David Cobb's starting job in Houston, and then Derek Carr takes Schaub's starting job in Oakland. So it's kind of like a back and forth. Kind of came full circle from another brother. It's kind of funny. Yeah, Schaub really not good in Oakland, and that's kind of a mess. Brent and Sebastian met on Tuesday at I believe it was Buffalo Wild Wings. They were hoping I was going to be able to come, but unfortunately I work second shift, and I wasn't able to take the day off. So just letting them know, Sebastian saying, I want to meet the elusive and infamous Paladino Joey, though. I just hope it isn't like meeting Don Corleone and The Godfather, where I get that kiss of death. No, it wouldn't quite be that way. That's kind of a friendly conversation right there, back and forth. Sebastian and Brent kind of teasing each other a little bit. Brent Jacobson was wondering if anybody wanted to get in a pick'em challenge for a Survivor Bowl. Tell me more about what that's about, Brent. And I should have posted in there, and I'm really sorry. Nobody responded to him, so apologize for that, Brent. Let us know what you meant exactly, because for some reason I'm kind of blanking on what that's about. Brent was talking about his fantasy league. Dave Hickey saying, I watched the last preseason game on Wednesday night. My observation is we left a lot of points on the field. The reason Ponder's short little dump-offs move the ball between the 20s and end up with 3 points or nothing. Teddy looked good again, which is good for the team. Still making good connections with Reisner and Thielen. I commented to Sebastian, what more does Reisner need to do to make the team? Which he didn't. They keep Ford on the practice squad, and I don't remember him doing anything. Reisner made at least 3 touchdown grabs and many other catches. Then they signed Gray, as in, Marquise Gray. Are you kidding me? Please, at tight end, he was a quarterback in college. Or a receiver, not a tight end. I hope Norvs have seen something at Cleveland because he hasn't done squat in the NFL or college, for that matter. Yes, I'm a Hawkeye homer, but Reisner was productive. And I'm with you, Joey, on Banyard. He looks good. Anyways, another great show, Joey. Just keep knocking them out of the park. And thank you very much, Dave. Very, very cool. Very awesome things to say there. And lots of good points, too. And, it's kind of rehashing a little bit what we were saying on that show. Alan Reisner, I think he would have been a factor on Sundays. And it's kind of a shame to see him go. We didn't really see much of Marquise Gray, though. I'm guessing he's going to be on special teams a bit and such as things continue. Mark Carlson saying exciting for the NFL season to start tonight. This was back on Thursday. He said, just got home from work, turned on the TV in the kitchen, and before I can get my boots off, Dion's ears start flapping. Oh, the game doesn't start for another hour and a half. It's going to be a long season. Yeah, he does not like Deion Sanders, does he? And I didn't really like him when he was a player. No. Well, that stupid Seattle and Green Bay game. That game. I'll get back. I'm going to comment about that in a second because it's very important. And of course, I didn't even do the NFC North preview or roundup because I'm bad. I'll probably do a very brief checkup on that right now. But lots of smoke in Seattle. Green Bay goes down. Wreckage all over. Mostly Green Bay's, and I like it. Lee Hepner saying Seattle seems to be the defense to go all the way. I haven't seen, but lots of talk. So I'm going to briefly talk about that. Green Bay looked terrible. Seattle looks a lot better than I may have expected. I thought, well, they got the Super Bowl championship. Maybe they'll have a slightly not as hungry type of season, we'll say. I figure they're still a great team and everything, but not quite as hungry. And I have been bashing them. I called them I basically called them and Green Bay my 2 least favorite teams in football. I don't know. I still hate Dallas and Atlanta, probably even more than Seattle. Yeah, because I still remember being furious when Atlanta beat Seattle a couple of years ago in the second round because I just hate Atlanta. Just hate them. I don't know if I'll ever let go of that. And, of course, the New Orleans Saints I hate, and the Dallas Cowboys I hate as well, like permanently. So, sorry to Paul Caniff out there and others from Seattle. And, no, I still do hate the Seahawks, but not as much. So we'll say that. I don't hate them as much as Dallas and Atlanta. It's mostly because I don't like I don't like Richard Sherman, and I don't know, I don't like the way the fan base acts like Seattle's been like in the Super Bowl every year for the last 20 years and all that. It's really annoying, actually, because Seattle really sucked just a couple of years ago. So, I think they need to temper their enthusiasm a little bit as well. Even though they did win a Super Bowl championship, don't act like you've won 20 of them or whatever. I mean, come on now. Calm down a little bit, guys, out there. I'm gonna get back to the Facebook page here in a second. I do want to look more at the NFC North roundup a little bit here, just because I'm a bad guy. I'm going to keep it really, really brief. The Bears lost to the Bills today at home, 23-20. That is not good. That is not good. And I figured I would keep it brief this time around because this show has been kind of long. And, of course, the Lions and Giants haven't even played yet, which is kind of frustrating. I kind of think the Lions are going to win that one because the Giants aren't playing very well. The Lions are at home. The Giants have been a dysfunctional mess. The Lions are starting off with a new coach, and they have a lot of weapons on offense. I kind of have a sneaky feeling the Lions win that one, but that doesn't mean they're going to make the playoffs or anything. It'll just be one of their 6 or 7 wins this season, maybe 8 wins. Chicago, though, very disappointing. Losing at home to the Buffalo Bills. That's not good. Just like how the Minnesota Vikings winning in St. Louis is a good thing. You have to win that game. It is a tone setter for the season, regardless if the opponent is really good or really bad. Losing at home to the Buffalo Bills is unacceptable by the Chicago Bears. Unacceptable. And as for the Green Bay game, it's just kind of like whatever. They got demolished beyond human recognition, and Richard Sherman never had the ball thrown to him. Never. That's not good. That shows the Packers are scared of him. The best quarterback in football is scared of Richard Sherman. That's not a good sign for the Green Bay Packers either, actually. And, boy, that shows the Seattle Seahawks are probably going to at least get back to the NFC Championship game, and probably not Green Bay. Probably not. So it might be Seattle, San Francisco again, because the 49ers look good, beating up the Cowboys today, which that's great to know. But back to the stupid Bears. What the hell? Boy, not a good game, man. Not a good game by the Chicago Bears. You lose at home to the Buffalo Bills. I just can't believe it. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of jumping around into this one, but just saying. Cutler threw the ball quite a few times in this one, almost 50 times, completed a lot of passes, but had some interceptions down the stretch, and the Bears just kind of choked this one away. Not good. Not good. At home. I just can't believe they choked this one away at home. I'm kind of miffed. They just didn't get it done. They were able to tie the game up at the end with 35 seconds left. Good on them. But then they couldn't stop the Buffalo Bills in overtime. I'm just like, It's kind of like, who do the Buffalo Bills have? E.J. Manuel. Oh, goody. Fred Jackson? Oh, he's all right. Outside of that, who do the Buffalo Bills really have? I mean, Chicago? All these people talking about them going to the Super Bowl this year, or NFC title game even? I don't know. Doesn't look too hot for me. So we're going to get back off the NFC North and try to wrap this thing up here. We're almost at the end of the Facebook interaction. We still got to check Twitter really quickly. Tony Coleman saying, yep, what do you think about that whole Adrian Peterson saying he's going to get a touchdown on the first carry? So, yep, that was pretty crazy. Posted the article on there. Really appreciate that. Sebastian saying the C bleeps versus Green Bay Clovers, I'll just call them, instead of what he said, just because who will win. That was kind of a back and forth conversation. We're going to kind of leave that alone now. And now some in-game conversation. We'll leave that alone again. On to Twitter. We're going to hear from Dave Martin again. Yeah, the Twitter Hall of Fame, the Purple Mafia Twitter Hall of Fame. Dave Martin out of Scotland. Got it like that a couple times here. He was saying, good last podcast, and I agree. This game should tell us a lot if our D cannot stop the Rams. It could be a long season. He continues saying, I see the so-called experts are saying 4-12, the season not started yet, so I say 8-8 or better, and a playoff season. So you think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs? And yeah, they might. If they beat the Patriots, I think the chances are improving in a quick hurry. Dave Martin was saying, of course, 3 hours from now I might be thinking something else. Looking forward to seeing the Zenora offense in action. And boy, it was fun to watch indeed. Dave posting some more. These are kind of... He was saying, who needs Percy Harvin? The defense looking good. See, some of this is in-game too, just like that. But he was saying, with Captain Cool coming in town, we shall see if we have a legit D next Sunday. I cannot wait to see. And that's the whole point right there. We shall see if we have a legit D next Sunday. And that's very, very true. Tom he had one post that I don't want to miss here for you out there. He was saying, thanks for the mention on the show. We haven't spoken before. I saw the Vikings play at Wembley last year and have listened ever since. Very cool. So that was the Steelers game last year. So Tom, I believe, is from England. Very cool. He was saying it looks great because I posted his fan art up there. I actually used that on the sportstuff.com, so you can see what that looks like. I enjoy the game Sunday, so there you go. So let's get to the stars. Gold star is going to go to Carl O'Neill. He's going to get his first gold star. Carl O'Neill. Gold star to this one. Silver star is going to go to Tom. Yeah, for that awesome art he posted. Tom's going to get the silver star on Twitter. Tom out of England. And the bronze star is going to go to Dave Martin. So yeah, I kind of went to Twitter this time around. Great, because they're such great posts, and sometimes it seems like I tweet a lot during the game, and then I don't even, and it seems like I almost disregard it when I get on the show, and I feel so bad about that. And these takes are always so good. These guys deserve some recognition, absolutely, on this show. Dave Martin and Tom, and of course that picture definitely was worthy of a star, and I should have given it to him last week, but I'll give it to him this week. So, silver star for Tom, bronze star for Dave Martin out of Scotland. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful posts. And if you don't get a star, don't think I'm discounting you out there, all of you, on Facebook and Twitter. It's just, there's only 3 stars for each show, and, you're probably going to get some stars, because as long as you keep posting and you have good things to say, why not, And sometimes, and you probably can't get a star every single week. So just letting you know out there, some of you guys have so many stars, you have nowhere else to put them, in your trophy case. So, your imaginary trophy case. So, thanks again, everybody, for listening. Minnesota does not beat the Patriots, in my opinion. But who's to say? Who's to say? Because if I'm wrong, great. Sometimes it's good to be wrong. Being wrong is wonderful when it's a positive thing. But until the Vikings can beat Tom Brady, I ain't picking them to win, because they have not done it yet. With that, we'll be back next week. Go get them, Vikings. Go get them, Zimmer defense. We shall see what happens.